Hi there, thanks for checking out our channel. This is just going to be a testing video and maybe operation video of this unit a little bit, tell you a little bit about it. This is a unit that we got in for repair from a customer. If you go onto our Facebook page, we've got some pictures of the unit on, before and after, but I don't know what happened to it exactly. I haven't talked to the customer yet, but the cases on it were completely overheated and melted by some kind of outside force. I mean, there's the back case, and it's supposed to be nice and flat all the way across, so you can see it's all warped and melted and everything. I mean, all the way around, most of the edges all warped and stuff. The front case looks the worst. Here's the front case of the unit. And on the back case, you can see where it gotten some crap on the inside. There was dust and dirt and stuff on the inside. But here's the front case. It's all warped and looks like crap. So looks pretty. Like, I don't know what happened to it. I haven't even talked to the customer yet, but it's pretty wore out. Something got hot next to it. I don't think it was a power surge, because the inside of the board where the power cord goes, that area was fine. The fuse wasn't blown, and that section of the board was fine. There's no burnt stuff on the output side where the fence and ground comes from, so I don't think it was lightning on the fence and ground side, and I don't think it was lightning on the power cord side, so I don't think it was lightning would have caused. I think some kind of outside heat source of some sort caused this. I don't know what it was, but there's the power cord on it, and you can see it's all melted and frayed, and it is pretty janky. It's what it's supposed to look like is how this area here looks like. It's supposed to be nice and smooth, and this is all charred and burnt and melted and everything else. But either way, what we did to it, I'm not going to pull it apart because I've already put it all back together. I don't want to do that all over again. We replaced the front and back case, replaced the power cord on there, and then we had to go through the board and repair a handful sections of the board, basically, because even though it wasn't a power surge, the heat did affect and damage some of the parts on the board. The good thing, though, out of all of that is we were able to repair the board versus replacing the board, which saved a bunch of money on it. So if we can repair a board versus replacing, that's what we try to do, because it's just a lot cheaper repair-wise for both me and the customer, because I don't have to fork over all the money to buy the board, and then you don't have to fork over all the money to pay me for the board, basically. So we can repair the board for a lot less money on a unit. That's the way we're going to go, because it saves me and the customer a bunch of money. And you get the same warranty. I give you a 1.5-year warranty on the thing, whether we gut the thing and replace with all new parts, or if I rebuild a bunch of parts and stuff, we still give you a 1.5-year warranty. Lightning damage is part of the warranty, but of course melted cases and floods and water damage and bugs and that kind of stuff, we don't cover that stuff. But malfunctions of a unit that we've repaired, or lightning damage of a unit that we repaired, fence and ground side or power cord side, we'll cover both on that for a 1.5 years. And then we work on all kinds of things. We work on these Gallaghers. This is what this unit is. The label that was on the front of it, which went right here, is completely gone. I guess I could write on there what it is. Gallagher. There you go. Gallagher made. They don't make it anymore. This was a 110/120 version AC model they used to sell here in the States. They got discontinued 3 or 4 years ago based on today's time. They came out with the M2800i, which is probably a better built unit, and they don't go bad that often. Occasionally, but they're very rare to go bad. So the newer unit's a lot better built than this generation. Well, this isn't a bad unit by any means. I just don't see the I series, they call it. I don't see any of those hardly ever come in. So they either go back to the factory to get worked on, or they just don't go bad. I've heard a lot of good things about them, so I don't see any reason why they're not a good unit. They made a MR5000, which is basically looks just like this. It has a different board, more capacitors, more transformers in it to make the unit stronger. And they made a 220 and a 110 version here in the States, so we do get those in occasionally in for repair. That unit was replaced by the M5800i, which is a 58 stored joule. It's a part of that I series stuff. It's a really slick looking unit. it's built in stages on the inside, so it only uses what it needs. It's got the adaptive technology in them on the I-Series stuff. All the I-Series do, and a couple other mid-range new Gallagher units to have the adaptive technology in them as well. I think this one kind of does too. I don't know. I think it kind of builds the charge up gradually, depending on the load that it's got on there, I think. So which allows the unit to run more efficiently, doesn't use all the power all the time and get all the units really stressed out and make them work hard all the time. So it only uses the power that it needs, you know, depending on the fence load, what's touching it, whether it's the animal, a person, or a bunch of grass or short somewhere. And then they made an M1800i, or M1800, looked similar to this, completely different guts on the inside. It's 18 joule unit. And that was phased out a couple, 2, 3, 4 years ago by the M1800i as well. So, but this generation is not too bad. They had, you know, little issues with them, but they're, for the most part, are pretty reliable. Once you fix them, you usually don't see them back for a while, unless lightning gets a hold of them. So they usually go for quite a while. But these bigger units, they pack quite a punch. So, but let's get in this unit, tell you a little bit about it and how it runs and all that stuff. But subscribe to our channel if you want. And go to our website, which is fencerfixer.com, and fencer and fixer is spelled with an F as in Frank on both words. And then there might be a little thing you can click on or copy and paste into your browser to find us on the website down there in the description area. So if you need to copy and paste that into there, if you can't understand the spelling of it, it's right down there at the bottom there a little ways. And find us that way. But we work on all this stuff. Don't care what brand it is, how old it is, if it's electric fence box, AC, DC, 220 volt, 120 volt, or 240, 120, 6 volt, 12 volt, or solar. We'll work on anything. We don't turn anything away. If they can be opened up and tinkered on, we're going to try to fix it. Whether it's 60 plus years old or is made a couple days ago, we'll work on all that stuff. So, but let's get in this thing. Show a little bit about it. Powered on. So this has just 2 lights on. This is your power light, and this is your fence OK light. So this can change colors. It will change the yellow if you have it on half power. The only way for it to go on half power is you've got to physically change the switch settings, which on the back of this unit there is a I had to tape this back onto the case because I had peeled it, heated it up with a heat gun, and peeled this sticker off, and then put it back on the new case and taped it down so if they need it to look at these different switch settings, they can still read it. But this has a bunch of switch settings on there. Talks about the sensitivity level. So this has like electrical interference problems, where it goes into standby on its own without using a remote control. You can change how sensitive it is to outside interference, like radio towers, AT&T or antennas, airports, army bases, anything that's going to put a frequency out there of some sort that the electric fence itself can pick up. It can send a wrong signal back to the unit and put it in standby on accident when you don't want it to. So there is some sensitivity settings on there. There's also the remote control. These didn't come with it, but there was a remote control you could buy for these. It was just a remote control. It wasn't a fault finder. It wasn't a voltmeter. Just strictly a remote control that you could carry with you. Put it on the fence and ground out there on the fence and turn your energizer off or put it in standby. Fix your fence, change your fence, whatever you're trying to do, then turn it back on. So there's remote control codes on here. So if you've got different units, you can set the the codes, and the switches are up inside here. A little rubber piece you pull away, and there's a set of 8 switches up there that these different settings go towards. There's also a remote control enable disable. It comes from the factory disabled, so because they didn't come with the remote control, so it might as well come disabled. But it's just a flick of the switch. You need a little pin or a small screwdriver to flip those switches on and off, and I would always do it with the unit turned off. That way it doesn't interfere with how it's operating. Change the switch settings to what you need, then plug it back in. Then it has a full power, half power switch on there. So full power and half power. Basically, it'll change it from green light on top to a yellow light. So if you want to see that, we'll do that real quick. It says it is switch number 8. This is up is full power, which is the default setting, which is what this is set in. And push it down, like that, and that switches it to half power. So now we turn on, this top light should be yellow. Looks like that's what's going to be. So you can see it's yellow now instead of green. So that just means that output power at the terminals is a lot less. For some reason, if people wanted that, I guess, yeah, they can put it there. You know, it doesn't run as hot, you know, but if you... These things don't pull a lot of power to begin with, so you don't have to worry too much about your electric bill going up or down. You know, if it's on full power, half power, these things probably run you $20 a year to run. You know, they're not very hard hitting, you know, dragging. There's a lot of power coming out, but it doesn't require a lot of power coming in to make them do that. All that stuff's done by the board. But we'll put a meter on there, so we're getting about 4,500 volts or so coming out of it, a little over 4,000. So flip it over to the back again, and then we'll screwdriver, and we'll flip switch 8 back up, and then we'll see what kind of voltage reading. It should go up like 7,000 or 8,000 volts, maybe a little higher. So we're about a little over 8,000 volts, and you see the top light's green again. And so if you want to see it with a load, we'll put stick a 500 ohm load on it first, and we'll see what this drags it down to. This 500 ohm load is just a basic stress test a lot of manufacturers use. The closer you get to 0 ohms across fence and ground, the more stress it puts on a unit. So this would simulate, you know, resistance from an animal touching it, a little bit of the grass here and there, small shorts here and there. It only dropped down by about 1,000 volts, so it didn't drop down very much. 500 ohms on this size unit isn't that much stress for it. The smaller joule unit, it'd drag it down a lot more. I've got another load I can put on here. This is 150 ohms, so it's closer to 0, so it's going to drag the unit down more. So we'll put that across and see what the voltage drops down to. So we're sitting about a little over 8,000. And we're still sitting about 5,500 volts out of it. So, and you know, as soon as you fix your problem, the voltage is going to go right back up. It doesn't take it, you know, no time at all to boom, go right back up to the high voltage again. So that's what's nice about these Gallaghers, you know, or about most units. Once you fix the problem, it goes right up. Someone's trying to call me. Customer call. Right as we're doing a video, we're gonna have to wait a minute. Almost done. But now we're gonna do a. I'm just gonna do a spark jump across here. I'm gonna touch the ground with one wire, or with one side of the wire, one end of the wire. I'm going to get real close to the red terminal here, the fence terminal, see what kind of spark it throws. So, as you can see, it's a hard hitting unit. And I want you to notice something else too. I believe if you get a heavy enough short, I don't have a manual for this in front of me, but if you get heavy enough short, this bottom light will go from a green to a red. If you get a heavy enough short dragging it down. So I'm going to dead short it and we'll see what that bottom light does. See? It goes right back to working. So if you walk by and all of a sudden you're, you know, showing red light down here or something, then that means you got a really bad short. Something that's really dragging it down. And the only way to know for certain if it's the unit itself or if it's a fence problem is pretty easy. Just unplug your charger, you know, turn it off, unhook your fence and ground from it, that way there's no stress, and flip it back on. If it goes back to, if it still shows funny, it's still showing red, not acting right up here, then there's issues inside. If it goes back to working like this, then your unit's fine, you got a bad short somewhere. So this is what's nice about most units that have some kind of light indicator. It tells you at a glance what's going on, you know, based on what your fence conditions are. So you still want to always check your fence for voltage with the electric fence tester, preferably a digital one. Those flashing light testers, you know, they're okay. Sometimes they're hard to read when it's really bright outside, but when you're going to spend $800 on a unit like this, or $700, whatever they sell for now, when you get these bigger units, you know, an extra $100 or $50 on a good tester is not going to make or break you. You know, it's a good tool to have, especially a digital one, because you know exactly what kind of voltage you're getting. You're not guessing by some lights. And if you got one of those fault finding types, that's even better, because then you know, big unit like this will run, you know, 500-600 acres with no problem. Have multi-strand setup, so you know it's a lot easier to use one of those fault finders to test for track down your faults and what direction the issue is, on which line that it is, than to run around and guess where the problem's at, or walk the fence or drive around the fence, you know, 3 times and like, I don't see nothing wrong with it, especially if you got cross fencing and stuff. So use one of those fault finders if you got more than, say, I'd say 20 acres or more than a 1 or 2 joule unit. That would be the time I would probably, especially if you're tired of tracking down faults, I would invest, you know, the $100 in a good, you know, good quality fault finder. You know, that way, you know, you've got you know, pretty easy to find your shorts, and it won't, you know, won't take you long to figure out what the problem is, or at least help you out. So, but anyways, we're gonna call this video done here in a minute. If you've got one of these Gallagher MR2500s, or its bigger brother, the MR5000, or any other Gallagher unit, or any other model or brand of that, for that matter, look us up. You know, we'd be happy to work on something for you. We give you free quotes, and we don't charge you a penny for looking at it. And you know, 18-month warranty. You know, buy new ones, or like this one's probably pushing now $1,000 for a 2000i, give or take a couple $100. And they give you a 3-year warranty. But if we can fix it for half that or less, you know, give you a 1.5-year warranty, which was a lot less than half on this repair. But we still give you a 1.5-year warranty on it. You know, so if you get a good working unit and get a good warranty behind it, I'd say do it. But until we do another video of how to fix something, or one that we've worked on, we will see you later.